Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The Transportation Department has a new chief. His marching orders: finish pending projects and begin new ones fast. As he buckles down to work, Secretary Vince Dizon has set his sights on improving mass transport. With the country's arteries getting more clogged by the minute, the task is a tall one. He believes an overhaul of the mass transport system is in order. Let's get on point. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. It's so good to see you again, Secretary Vince.
Thank you, Pinky,
it's
for
been
having
a while.
me. It's been a while, thank you.
Right? I mean, we had you all the time as BCDA president, as testing czar, and now you are the new transportation chief. Tall, hard, big ask and a job, daunting task. Let's start first, just this very quickly, this controversy in the EDSA busway wherein the PNP convoy had passed. The PNP is saying there were high-ranking police officials there. And what do you know so far? And I guess what's important, Secretary, is that who is allowed again? Maybe just to tell the public who is allowed there.
I think first and foremost, I think just to kind of clarify everything. The facts are there was a convoy, and in fairness, they were ticketed. No, I mean they did not run away. They accepted the fact that they were apprehended and they were ticketed. So, but I think what's more important is that the public understands that the administration of President Bongbong Marcos is really serious about enforcement. No, that rules need to be followed, regardless, no, of who violates them. No? So I think that's a very, very important signal that the rules of law is upheld, especially for something like the busway, where the objective is really to alleviate the plight of the
commuters, yes.
And the idea for the busway is really to ensure that there is seamless and continuous movement of commuters. No? That's how it works in other countries, and that's what we're trying to do here in Metro Manila on EDSA. So what we want to do, and this is coming straight from the President, is really to try to alleviate the plight of the Filipino commuter on a daily basis. We know how hard it is. We all commute in one way or another. We're all motorists. We all...
you commute whether you're using a private car.
Whether you're using a private car or using public transport. But the key, I think, here is we need to make sure that we are able to look at things that we can do quickly, that can alleviate some of the difficulties. We also need to look at the medium term and the long term, meaning what we need to build in order to provide these long-term solutions to these problems.
Yeah, but I need to get clarification on this. While you are correct that stating the facts, there was a convoy, they were ticketed, wala naman pong away or argumentong nangyari. But the name of one of the members of the police said, supposedly or allegedly, the PNP chief is there. Secretary Vince, who are allowed in the EDSA busway, I guess just to again clarify, sino lang ang pwedeng dumaan po doon? And sino po bang nanghuhuli lang talaga? Kasi alam po natin SAIC. Sino ho ba sila?
Yes. Okay, so who is allowed? Ang allowed po dyan ay yung ating top 5 officials. Ang Presidente, ang Vice Presidente, ang Senate President, ang Speaker of the House, at ang Chief Justice.
At any given time, pwede po
at
sila?
At any given time. Yes,
May ba kailangan may prior notice sila o wala?
Yung pong 5 yon, hindi kinakailangan. Pero meron pong halimbawa, no, nakalagay din doon na kapag may operasyon ang security forces natin, ang law enforcement officials natin, ang police natin, pwede po silang magpasabi, and they will be allowed to use it for obvious reasons, no, to uphold the law and to apprehend individuals or for any emergencies, no? especially medical emergencies as well. No? So, but remember, this is an evolving set of rules and regulations. Bago pa lang ito, no? So, right now, kung ano ang nakalagay sa memorandum order na ginawa ng DOTR, katulong ang MMDA, kailangan po tayong sumunod doon.
Yes. So here's what I want to find out para po walang gulo, and so that your team is also well informed of these emergencies.
Yes.
Because while supposedly PNP vehicles can pass in case of prior notice, hindi ho ba? Is there already a system there that you are certain na meron ho silang pwedeng tawagan? Ito ang point person na tatawagan nyo, may 5 vehicles na dadaan dyan, meron kaming operasyon, etc. Sino po ang sasabi na pwede pong daanan yan? At sino po magsasabi doon sa point person, doon sa EDSA busway na may 5, for example, convoy na dadaan dyan?
I was told just today that there is a system. I have not been fully briefed about it and how effective it is. So that's my plan for the next couple of days, to really understand and to see if this system is as effective as it should be. No? And if all agencies of government understand that there must be a system in place for things to work and things to work properly.
I guess I'm only underscoring that, Secretaries, because there will really be times that there will be emergencies.
Yes.
And ang hirap ho kasing makitang mag-argue pa yung dalawang forces of government,
Tama po
hindi
yan.
ba? Mga opisyal ng mga gobyerno. Kaya kung nasabihan po prior hand na si so-and-so may emergency, padaanin nyo yan. Pero syempre dapat from a credible person, natatanggap po nung notice o nung paalam, nasasabihin po dun sa man on the ground.
Tama
yung
po.
tao po nyo doon sa...
Tama po.
Okay,
Tama
all right.
po.
So,
we will try to do that. We will try to resolve that and just make everybody talk to each other and come up with something that will follow the letter and rule of law in the current regulations, but at the same time avoid what you just described earlier.
I guess what's also, important that you had said earlier was that nagmamadali sila, nagpa-ticket sila, tapos umalis sila, pero bumalik din naman sila para, to complete the ticket. All right, so that's something that you need to look into. During your when you were introduced and you spoke to the media, it was very clear, sir, that you want to fix the plight of the commuters, hindi ho ba? And one of the first things you did was, kayo po yung nag-commute. Sinabi niyo naman magko-commute ako. Paano ko malalaman kung di ko alam kung paano ang what the commuters are experiencing?
Yes.
So, there's a video of you. Were the people oblivious of who you were? And, wala, hindi ka nila kilala.
No.
Okay. So, ano po ang inyong nadiskubre at ano ang dapat na gawin?
Unang-una, no, I think you said it exactly as how we intended it. No? We wanted to find out what the commuter goes through on a daily basis. So, we went po on a Monday, rush hour, around 5:30. Ortigas Station po kami nagsimula sa busway. And the first thing I realized was, wala po palang dedicated na daan papuntang busway. That's the first thing. Kasabay ng busway ang MRT. So, you can just imagine, no? May mga sasakay ng MRT, may sasakay ng busway, pareho po ang dinadaanan nila. So, you can just imagine the volume of people na dadaan sa iisang lugar. No? Yung stairway po, paakyat ng MRT, yun din po ang dinadaanan ng busway. So the first thing I told the team is, we need to find a way to have dedicated areas where people who want to use the busway just pass this area, and those who use the MRT will pass this area. So thankfully...
separate mo sila?
Yes.
Okay.
So there will be some engineering solutions that will be required there. You need to build separate bridgeways na hiwalay yung MRT dun sa busway. In fairness, yung ibang stasyon, ganun na. Pero meron pong stasyon tulad ng Ortigas, I think Santolan, Kamuning, and I think one more, I forget which one, na naghahalo. Naghahalo. Mahirap po yun.
Nagko-converge silang dalawa.
Thankfully, ang SM group po, the C family, will be donating 2 busway stations. One in Mega Mall and one in North EDSA. And those have dedicated bridgeways for the busway. So pag natapos na po yung Mega Mall station, yung mga sasakay po sa Ortigas, hindi na po sasabay sa MRT yun. Doon na sila sa dedicated.
And when is this?
I think matatapos na this year.
Okay.
In fact, yung North EDSA tapos na, malapit na matapos. Yung sa Mega Mall, I think this year matatapos. So, ang in-instruct ko na lang, let's not reinvent the wheel. SM has already so generously donated these facilities. Gayahin na lang natin. yung ginawa ng SM. I'm sure maayos at maganda yung ginawa ng SM. Nakita po namin from afar. So yun po ang instruction. Meron naman pong pondo. So let's just do that and let's do it fast.
And that will help the commuters
with the overall experience.
Yeah,
It will be easier, the lines will be easier, they will be faster, and the experience will be much more pleasant, so to speak. No, the other thing I found out, and this is so basic, and so simple, but I was surprised that some stations, all stations had timers sa mga bus. Meaning, pag dumating yung bus, magsisimula mag-countdown, 45 seconds ata.
I see.
At ang objective nun is dapat, after 45 seconds, si bus na nauna, abante na siya. Susunod si bus pangalawa, and so on and so forth. The problem is, marami sa mga timer hindi gumagana. At least dun sa mga 3 stasyon na nakita ko, hindi gumagana yung timer. So ang nangyayari, hindi gumagana yung timer, tapos walang enforcer, walang nagre-remind sa driver na, sir, abante na po tayo.
May iwan yun dun.
Siyempre, naghihintay po.
Oo.
At siyempre, naghihintay pong mapuno ang bus.
Yeah.
No? So, doon po na nagkakabulbul at nagkaka-traffic sa stop. So, but the idea nga of a busway is tuloy-tuloy yan.
Yeah.
Dapat
In
tuloy-tuloy.
fact, that's what you were saying during your first press conference. Parang you wanted to do a time and motion study,
Yes.
di ba? So at least nakita mo pala na yung kanilang timer
Yeah.
ay hindi gumagana.
Opo. And yun po, we can fix those immediately.
Those
No? So,
should be-
pinaayos na po natin sa ating DOTR at MMDA. And then, other things like, I saw 2 elevators in Film Station for PWDs na hindi gumagana. So, kailangan paganahin yon, no? And thankfully, that ramp, I don't know if you remember, there was a ramp in Film Station na matarik masyado. Yung, kung naka-wheelchair ka, talagang mahuhulog ka, no? Kasi masyadong matarik. Naayos na po yan.
Pwede ho bang balikan kung sino man yung mga gumawa nun?
Dapat
At
po, pwede
alamin kung bakit ganun ang naging disenyo?
Dapat po, pwede po.
Because that was almost like a joke on social media, hindi ho ba?
Yes.
Sa sobrang taas niya, parang pupunta ka na daw sa langit.
Iba pa po yun. Yun po yung sinasabi niyo, yung Kamuning overpass.
Yun ba
Yung, nandun pa po yun. No? I will have discussions with the MMDA about how to maybe replace that with something better. No? Kasi we have to understand, medyo constrained din kasi ang ating mga government agencies dun sa spasyo, dun sa lokasyon ng mga, alam niyo naman ho, sa EDSA, lalo na sa mga area sa bandang Quezon City, ang daming mga wires na nakahang.
Spaghetti.
No? So we really have to fix it, but we have to plan it well. So we want to lend our expertise to help in that, and maybe we can fix that and replace it with something that is more user-friendly, just to use the parlance.
Yeah,
no?
right. And of course, you are for the privatization of the
Absolutely.
EDSA bus
Absolutely.
carousel.
As well as all
busway, no?
other infrastructure facilities.
You're
I
really
think that's
for
the way.
privatization.
That's the way to go. I think government needs to be introspective and just admit that when it comes to operations and maintenance, we don't really do a good job at it. So we have to,
An example for that you mentioned during your press conference was the LRT 1 ho ba?
yes,
Yeah,
LRT1 is run by a consortium of Metro Pacific and Ayala. No, and it is the best run metro rail system in the country, and it's great especially for the legacy of the president and his family, because that was built by the president's father, by President Ferdinand Marcos
Yun ang kauna-unahan.
Sr. Yes, it was opened in the 80s.
But
in
isn't
the
it
early
true,
80s.
Secretary Vince, that the rest are also privatized already?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I think LRT2 is still government.
Right.
MRT3,
Yung mga 7, di ho ba sila
well, MRT7,
RSA yan?
although it's not yet operational, it's not yet completed, that's private and that's great. We just have to finish it, no? Kasi medyo matagal-tagal na rin ang MRT7. But MRT3, the main one on EDSA, is privately maintained by
Right.
Sumitomo Corporation of Japan, which is great. That's why wala na po tayong mga nadiderail na mga tren, wala na po masyadong mga humihintong tren, because it's well maintained by our Japanese partner, Sumitomo Corporation. But the operations is still government. So we want to privatize that this year. No, the full operations and maintenance of
MRT3. Completely privatized na. Hindi na po operations ang gobyerno,
Hindi na po.
maintenance ang Sumitomo.
Hindi na po siya hybrid. And maniwala po kayo na when I say na kapag na-privatize po yan, mararamdaman po agad ng ating mga commuters ang diferensya at ang ginhawa.
And there are takers, sir.
Yes, definitely.
Especially for MRT3.
Our advisors there are partners at the Asian Development Bank, and they're very confident that there will be many interested private proponents for that project.
Okay, that's very important, mass transportation, that needs to be fixed. But there's also something very important you had mentioned during your press conference that I want to talk about even just briefly. Ito pong mga walkable areas,
Yes.
or yung mga, how do you describe them?
It's called the EDSA Greenways project.
EDSA Greenways project. We're going to talk about that after the break. More of our discussion with Secretary Vince Dizon in a moment. Stay tuned. This is On Point.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagli.
Welcome back. You're watching On Point, still with us, Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon. Binibilisan ko na yung salita kasi ang dami natin kailangan pag-usapan. Ito po yung sinabi niyong EDSA
Greenways.
Okay.
Kasi po, importante din po, kagaya ng nakikita natin sa ibang bansa, marami naman po sa mga kababayan natin willing maglakad eh.
Willing, oo.
Kaya lang, lalo na kung maigsigan, kung 1 kilometro, kahit 1 kalahati, kaya ang problema, wala tayong infrastructure para makapaglakad sila. Wala tayong mga sidewalk na magagalapad. Ang sidewalk po natin, halos talaga magsisiksika na tayo, hindi tayo makakadaan na.
Obstacle course po yung
Obstacle
sidewalks
course. Opo,
natin.
exactly.
Ang kalaban mo doon, kanal,
Opo.
butas, pwede rin sometimes yung mga tao.
Poste.
Dahil nga, poste.
Kuryente,
Nasa gitna.
linya ng kuryente minsan.
Tama.
Opo.
Diba?
So the idea of this ADB project, which has been there for quite some time, been planned for quite some time, is to elevate the walkways so that there's free-flowing movement on EDSA. The first phase is really 4 areas. It's Monumento, Balintawak, Cubao, and if I'm not mistaken, Ortigas. No? So that's meant to interconnect the different modes of commute. No? So from the jeepney, to the bus, to the MRT, to the LRT, para po yung tao, pagbaba sa jeep, mag-MRT siya sa EDSA, meron siyang dadaanan na may silong, na maganda-ganda naman, malinis, at protektado siya from the elements. At protektado siya, hindi siya masasagasaan, hindi siya makukuryente, alam nyo. And I think, those are the things that I think we should also look at. No? Kasi Filipinos, I mean, we like walking naman eh.
Yeah. And it's good for us.
It's good for us. It's healthy. No? So that's another thing that we want. And that I'm confident we can finish before the end of the president's term.
Really?
Yes.
When do you think that can begin?
This year. We are about to, I told the team that's in charge of that, let's bid this out. Everything's ready. Let's roll this out right away.
And how much does government have to shell out for that?
Oh, it's a loan. I think it's quite a big sum of money. I think it's about 70 billion pesos. So it's quite a big sum. No?
Yeah.
But it's important.
But when will you
It's very
begin,
important.
Secretary? Kung di po natin, because I mean, if you don't start something
We're
like
gonna
that,
start. It's
never going to happen.
I think we can start construction by towards the end of the year or early next year.
All right.
And I think we can finish those. It should not be that difficult to build them. There's not a lot of right-of-way issues because you're
Nasa
above,
taas ka eh,
no? You're
elevated
above.
ka. Yeah.
So mga siguro relocation ng mga poste ng Meralco yan o ng mga poste ng ating utilities. No?
Pero wala kasi ang right-of-way issue eh, no? Okay.
Technically,
It
wala.
seems like it. All right, that should be quite interesting.
Yes.
I won't talk about the other topics here because we don't have a lot of time. I want to talk about airports. I think that is important because you are also known to be the one who spearheaded, started, finished, completed the airport in Clark, to which some people have said, I've seen myself, yung ibang pumupunta po sa Clark, sinasabi talaga napakaganda nun, pero underutilized. So,
Tama po.
maganda man, siguro ano po ang plano ninyo sa mga ilan pang mga airports natin dito sa Pilipinas?
Ang key po kasi sa airports is yung regional connectivity. No, if you're a gateway like Clark or Cebu or NAIA, you really need to have regional flights so that international flights, when they come, if they come to Clark, they don't have to go all the way to Metro Manila and go to NAIA to fly to Boracay or Palawan. No? So that's the key. And I think we have to develop our regional airports. No, that's very, very key. So especially our tourist destinations. So Siargao must be a priority.
Okay.
Must be a priority. We have to develop that. It's so famous in the world now for surfing and it's just so beautiful. No, but the airport is lousy. No, sad to say. We have to fix that. That I think if we work this year, if we can start construction on fixing Siargao Airport by next year, that is another project that the president can inaugurate before the end of his term.
Okay. Pero privatization din po ito.
We need to do it. I mean, because if it's government, it's not only do we not do a really good job at operating and maintaining it, but we're also kind of slow.
Okay.
No, and if it's the private sector, mas mabilis yan.
Okay.
No.
Apart from Siargao,
Siargao, I think the Palawan airports, Puerto Princesa, Busuanga, San Vicente, is the next big thing in Palawan. No, is beauty. I think it's one of the longest stretches of beaches in the country. No, longest stretch of beach in the country. So there's
may airport na doon,
may airport
sir.
na doon, but we need to develop it.
Right.
We need to
Ay,
develop
sorry,
it.
meron na runway.
May runway.
May maliit na,
Wala atang
may terminal.
no? Maliit.
Meron po, may terminal po
it's a
doon.
tiny terminal. So we have to fix that. No, we also have to fix Iloilo Airport, no, and also Davao Airport. No, those are our major gateways as well. No?
How do you attract the private sector here into, let's say,
That's very challenging for regional airports, Pinky, because there is not that much volume compared to a Cebu Mactan or a NAIA or a Clark. No, so I think it's about time that we go back to the idea of bundling these airports. I think that is a good idea. This was an idea that first came about during the time of the late President Noynoy Aquino. And I think that is a smart idea because we want to bundle a big airport with a medium airport and then a smaller airport. Just a small, medium, large kind of. And I think if we put them all together, then it becomes an attractive proposition for the private sector. And that's something I think we need to pursue.
Yeah. When you talk about these strategies you have, are these something that obviously you have to run by the president to get his go signal?
Yes, but the good thing with the president in our few conversations is that he just wants to get things done. That's what the president said. No?
And that's exactly what you want to do too.
And that's what we all want to do. That's what our people want. So the president really is just echoing what our people want, and because he feels their pain. The president feels the people's pain, and we cannot waste time. We've wasted so much time already. So
sabi mo nga, we can't waste time. We cannot learn. We cannot learn the ropes. Ano ba sinabi mo? There's no time to waste.
There's no time to waste. We can't relearn the ropes. We've got to hit the ground running. That's exactly what the president said.
That's why you want to put some people in.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
and those that already have the experience, in the department.
But you're talking about people from the Duterte administration.
Yes. But I think these are non-political people, Pinky. These are professionals who just want to serve the country and who will always be loyal to the president and the administration, regardless of who it is. And I think there are a lot of Filipinos who are like that, who just want to help the country, help the president.
Yeah. So you asked for courtesy resignations again during your press conference. You said that's quite usual and standard. Have they all given their courtesy resignations?
I have not. To be honest, I have not checked. No, I have not checked who has, but hopefully we will be able to announce the appointees soon. Once they've taken their oaths there.
But you obviously have people in mind,
yes,
obviously.
Yes,
Kasi nga sabi mo, there's no time to waste. Kailangan na kayo mag-umpisa. Sir, what about, actually it was a little bit of a surprise to some when you all of a sudden said, I'm going to suspend this implementation of the cashless.
Cashless.
Oo, dahil sabi mo nga, it's anti-poor. Maybe just quickly, why is it anti-poor?
I think, and I guess this goes for everything that the government should do. No? We should never do things that will inconvenience the public. Now, I know there's a need to regulate, there's a need to modernize and to innovate. But once the implications are mababurden pa lalo ang mga kababayan natin, tingin ko kailangan pag-isipan ng mabuti muna yun. And cashless, it's very noble to think about that, to modernize, to keep it cashless. But we also have to think about the ordinary motorist. What if I am a motorist, I have a limited budget, and I forget to top up my Easy Trip or my Auto Sweep? Meaning, zero siya or negative balance. And I'm there, about to enter NLEX, and if it's cashless, I have nowhere to go. What am I going to do? I can't pass NLEX anymore. So, paano yun? Iikot ako, dadaan ako ng MacArthur Highway. Parang mahirap naman yun, Pinky. No? So, and plus, this was already done a couple of years ago, and we all remember what happened. There was Carmageddon in NLEX and SLEX. And I asked the head of TRB, have the issues been resolved from the time that you tried it a couple of years ago to today? And I could not get a straight answer. So I said, we cannot do this. We
Well,
cannot.
at least he didn't give you a straight anser rather than lying to
Well,
you and expecting that
So
everything's been
it
fixed, right?
Well, it wasn't a confident answer. No? So I said, if we're not sure,
Yeah.
then let's take
Let's
it
put a
slow.
pause on
Let's
this
put
first,
a
yeah.
pause and let's talk to the operators and find out what we can do.
What about TNVS, sir?
You know, again, no, I go back. We need to start thinking about the commuter. Ano ba ang, given all our limitations sa mass transport, ano ba ang mapapadali para sa commuter? And I think the TNVS is a way to make the life of the commuter better. We've seen the success of Grab. We've seen now the motorcycles, Angkas and Move It, Joyride, all of this. No? And as long as they are properly regulated to ensure safety, because once you're bringing commuters from point A to point B, you have to make sure that you're safe and the commuter is safe. As long as we do that, I think we should encourage this. No? I think we should push for more of these innovative solutions to help the commuter. Especially while we're still waiting for these mega projects to happen, like the subway and the railways and the other MRTs and LRTs.
And you signed a department order today that what?
Yes.
You are going to oversee all these important flagship projects?
Yes, we
Okay.
signed a department order creating the Flagship Project Management Office. So we identified initially 6 projects, the Metro Manila Subway, the North-South Commuter Rail, the EDSA Busway, the EDSA Greenways, the Cebu BRT, and the Davao Bus System.
I see.
So, and of course we can add to that, but let's start with the 6, but I will personally oversee all of those. I will not delegate the authority to a USEC or ASEC.
To any of the USECs? Ikaw
No,
po
I
mismo?
will personally, tututukan ko yan personally. No? Every week, may timeline yan of accomplishment. Hindi pwedeng hindi gumagalaw ang needle natin sa accomplishment natin every week. So, kailangan na po kailangan pong gawin.
It's been 3 days since you started work as the OTR, as a transportation
Feels like
secretary.
3 months, yeah.
What
kidding.
it feels like 3 months. What's in store siguro for your task? What is the task ahead for you? Siguro in the short term muna po. Aside from the department order that you will oversee the at least 6 flagship projects. Ano pa po ang inyong siguro tututukan in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, I think we need to focus on things that we can do immediately. No, so I mentioned already for some of the infrastructure projects that are already ongoing in Metro Manila. Next week, I'm going to try the MRT3, no, and LRT1, no, and I'm going to look at what's happening to the MRT7 and the I don't know if I should say famous or infamous common station that has been pending and uncompleted for so many years already. So I want to know what's going on there, what are the delays all about. I want to understand from our partner, San Miguel Corporation, what the delays in the MRT7 are, and how government can help. No? Because I think, especially in PPPs, I think it should be all about collaboration and how we help each other. No? For MRT3 and LRT1, I want to find out what are the things that we can do. Can we can we lengthen the hours of operation? Can we extend the hours of operation?
That's one of the isa po yan sa hiling ng ilan nating kababayan. Yeah.
Hindi pa nila ako nabibrief, no? But I'm gonna do that next week, no? Early next week. I want to ask them, why can't we extend from 10 to 12 midnight? I mean, why? I just want to know. If they tell me, hindi po pwede, sir, kasi gano'n, pwede bang, kung di pwedeng 10 to 12, pwede bang 10 to 11? You know, pwede bang imbes na 4, pwede bang 3? You know,
Yeah.
I think we need to understand and see how we can push the envelope.
Well, you cannot make, and you should not make decisions just based on what is being asked of you to do, definitely
Absolutely.
without understanding the
Of
who,
course,
but-
of course.
And you're not the type to do that
Of
anyway.
course.
But, okay, so I guess those are some of the priorities right now in the next 6 months. Secretary Vince, we wish you luck. I know it's, as you mentioned, a daunting task.
Yes,
It's a lot.
Very. Opo, opo.
But welcome back to government.
Thank
Parang
you.
I'm part of government.
Thank you,
Welcome back
thank
to
you.
government.
Thank you.
Secretary Vince Dizon, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.